Hello guys, T899 here and welcome to today's video, and today we're going to go through our tips and predictions for round 5 of the 2026 NRL season. Last week, we don't talk about last week. Basically, the NRL said, screw your tips. So, let's see if we can try to redeem ourselves this week. Starting off on Thursday at 8 PM, we have the Dolphins taking on the Manly Sea Eagles. Now, the Dolphins are coming off their loss in the Battle of Brisbane, whilst the Sea Eagles are coming off a loss to the Sea Eagles, against obviously their former halfback in Daly Cherry Evans. But this is a new era for the club, as Anthony Seibold was sacked following that match, and it's now going to be Kieran Foran who steps in as interim coach. Jason Saab is the only out for this game, which will have Clayton Falalo as the starting winger for Manly. Now, this might sound delusional, but hear me out. What we usually see when it comes to a new coach coming in for a side, despite if the team has been horrible, for some reason they mostly win. At least in the matches that I've watched. So, in my opinion, for absolutely no justifiable reason, I think Manly are going to win this game, just for the sole purpose of this new change. But yeah, it'll be close, but now we go into Friday, and we have the traditional Good Friday matchup between the South Sydney Rabbitohs and the Canterbury Bulldogs. The South Sydney Rabbitohs are coming off a bye, whilst the Bulldogs got exposed, rightfully so, by the Newcastle Knights in a match where, to be honest, the Bulldogs really were not good. They were not great at all. But obviously, this is going to be a pretty interesting match. 5th versus 6th, so it's probably going to be one of the more even Good Friday matches coming into this game, because mostly it's either been, in the last couple of years, either Souths have been up while the Dogs have been down, and vice versa. This match will be very close, in my opinion. I could genuinely see this going extra time, or golden point, whatever the fuck they decide it is now. But I think this is going to be close, but I'm going to go with the Bulldogs to get it done. I don't know. I feel like this is the kind of match that the Bulldogs need to win. They need a win against a solid side. So it's like, okay, yeah, you're still alright. And now we go into the 8 PM match, where we see the Penrith Panthers taking on the Melbourne Storm. Now, the Panthers put belt to ass to their Western Sydney rivals in the Parramatta Eels, whilst the Melbourne Storm are coming off a shock loss to the North Queensland Cowboys. Now, this match, unfortunately, Penrith, the evil empire's back. We are back in... We're back in hell. Penrith have just been absolutely wiling out. I do think that Melbourne could make this more competitive, but just with how this momentum's going, I don't really see Penrith losing until, like, Origin starts. Like, genuine seriousness. This is what it feels like. But I think the Penrith Panthers are going to make a very big statement win over the Melbourne Storm and get the win. Now we go into the Saturday matches, where at 5:30 we have the St George Illawarra Dragons taking on the North Queensland Cowboys. The Dragons are coming off a loss to the Gold Coast Titans in a pretty early count of a spoon bowl, which sees the Dragons now dead last, whilst the North Queensland Cowboys did the biannual Todd Payton get a good win to save his job match and got a win over the Melbourne Storm. Yeah, I just don't understand what's going on with the Dragons at the moment, but I think it's going to be kind of safe to say, I don't know, but I think there is a possibility that Dragons do lose this game. Shane Flanagan gets sacked, but I don't know. I feel like something needs to be done, but I just think, yeah, I think the Cowboys have got wind under their sails now, and I think they should be able to get the job done at Cogra, so I'm going to say that I think the Cowboys should get the win. And then we go into the 7:35 matchup on the Saturday, as we have the Gold Coast Titans taking on the Brisbane Broncos. The Titans, are, as previously mentioned, are coming off their win against the Dragons, whilst the Broncos are coming off a win against the Dolphins. I'm excited to see how the Broncos do go into this game this week. Obviously, Payne Haas is back following his injury last week, but they've got Dean Mariner and Jesse Arthurs in at the wings because of Grant Anderson and Joshua Karapani's injuries. But to be completely honest, I feel like even a bit of a reserve team should be able to get the Titans. But, I mean, you never know. The Titans might get another result again and do them well, and if they do, completely fair enough. But personally, I don't see it, so I'm going to say that I think the Broncos should be able to get the job done. And now we go into the Easter Sunday matches, where at 2 PM we have the Cronulla Sharks taking on the New Zealand Warriors. The Sharks are coming off a pretty decent win over the Canberra Raiders down in the nation's capital, while the New Zealand Warriors are coming off a bit of a slap of reality, to say the least, with a pretty interesting loss to the West Tigers in New Zealand. So Mitch Barnett is out for this game. Apparently he's got an arm injury. He was in a sling, but for some reason, the Warriors are $2.50 as underdogs here. And I'm just thinking, I don't know. The last time I made a highlight about, I don't know why this team is such a big underdog. They ended up losing, but it was still quite close. But yeah, I think the Warriors can do this. I think this match will be probably one of the closer ones, but I do think the Warriors have the capability of getting it done. And now we go into the 4 p.m. on Sunday, the perfect time for a match. That's the perfect stadium for it. It is McDonald Jones Stadium as the Knights take on the Canberra Raiders. Now, the Knights are coming off their win over the Bulldogs in Sydney, whilst the Raiders are coming off the previously mentioned loss to the Sharks. So apparently Crossland has been named to start, despite the fact he became an elephant in that match. But I feel like there could be, he might have to get the black mask thing in that, but could be the possibility Harrison Graham comes in. But yeah, I think this is the match that Canberra could get the job done in terms of bouncing back into form. But I feel like this is also a game the Knights could win. It's like, yeah, we have improved, and you know what? I'm gonna back the boys. I'm gonna back the boys. I think the Knights will win. This will be the first Knights game I've gone to this year. Yeah, so I think hopefully the Knights get the job done. And finally, we go into the Easter Monday matchup as we see the Parramatta Eels taking on the West Tigers. The Eels are coming off basically just getting pimp-slapped by Penrith, whilst the Tigers are coming off a pretty important win over the New Zealand Warriors in New Zealand. Isaiah Iongi and Matt Doria are out for the Parramatta Eels. We'll see Joash Papali starting at fullback. But yeah, I think this game, like a lot of games this round, I think it's going to be really interesting to see where both teams go, because the Tigers, despite them being third on the ladder, are the underdogs into this game. But yeah, this one could be very close. It's going to be one of those hard ones to try to pinpoint and predict, but we're going to go bold here. I think I'm going to say I think the Tigers will be able to get the job done, but I do think it will be close. And those are my predictions for round 5. Who do you guys have this round? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you all later.